Hello everyone, and welcome to our episode of Showcase on Dark Souls Remaster. Sorry for the wait, but the next episode is here. And so will the next one, and the next one, and so on and so forth. Today's episode is going to be the Claymore. This larger type of greatsword is normally wielded with two hands due to its weight. This highly flexible greatsword can be used to attack and swing or thrust, which is pretty darn useful. So yeah, the Claymore. In terms of what actually constitutes the Claymore, it changes from historically region to region, but it's simply put being simple, is a sword that requires two hands to use. So, a bastard sword or bigger. As I mentioned earlier, a Claymore, well, it constitutes many sizes. This is kind of more of a beyond a Claymore status. Of course, Claymores were generally used in warfare as not really the front man, but the man behind covering your rear. Mainly from cavalry charges, so the horses came while charging. You have people with lances or claymores at the ready, since the swing of a sword is a lot wider of an area and can possibly kill a horse in one swing if it's charging at you, where you would be sidestepping out of the way. That is one example of how a claymore was used. This specific claymore, I don't see any specific giveaways to what it is. It's generally a very common looking claymore. The common bastard sword perhaps, but otherwise it is simply how it is, a claymore. Moving on to animations, with one hand, your attacks, the basic attack is a lumbering swing. Not so much that it strikes the ground, but enough that your character can keep it upright while continuously swinging it. The power attack is a straightforward thrust, fairly useful in tight quarters. And a follow-up attack is that of an uppercut, so it's fairly useful in tight quarters. The light step back attack is a quick step back and a swing around, and of course there's no power attack version of that. Then you have the light rolling attack, which is a more or less overhead chop, pretty heavy and pretty decisive. No power attack rolling as usual. Alright, and then you got the plunge attack, which is just you bringing it down on your opponent like a heavy chop, and the sprint attack that you saw is not much different from the light step back attack. Then you got the two-handed basic attack, which actually is the horizontal swiping, so it's even good in close quarters and in corridors. The power attack, however, changes to the wide swing. Very heavy, lots of stagger in that. Even some bigger opponents can easily be staggered by that. Alright, the light step back attack, it's the same as it would be one-handed or two-handed. Same thing goes for power attacks and light step back attacks. However, the light rolling attack features a very heavy jab going forward. That's very useful. Once you learn how to use it plenty good, it's a nice ranged attack. And of course, the heavy rolling attack, there's no difference. And the plunge attack is the same as the one-handed version. So the Claymore is just really good at single heavy attacks. Moving on to the stats and upgrades, starting with stats, the Claymore, well, its physical damage starts off with 103, which is plenty, and with my level, the bonus damage is plenty as well. Now, aside from that, going down to parameter bonus, we got C for strength and dexterity, although it will be leaning more on strength when it's upgraded, depending on how you upgrade it. So plenty of bonus. Okay, moving on to, this weapon also has decent damage reduction, where it's just 60% on physical, though not so much for anything else. So it can make a decent emergency shield if you only have that and some other offhand like a staff. Now for the requirements, you need 16 strength and 10 dexterity, and the weight of the weapon is 6.0, which is hefty, but it is a claymore, and a large one at that. So yeah, but there's far heavier weapons out there. Now going on the upgrades, here's a level 50 upgrade, which is plenty powerful. Then you got the raw upgrade, which never is any good. Then you got the divine upgrade, which is what the one I'll be using going into performance. Then you got the occult. And next we have the magic and the enchantment, which comes very close to divine. In fact, I think the enchanted and divine are very neck and neck, like only 2 points of difference. So enchanted or claymore or divine is probably your choice, what you would go with. And we have the fire upgrade here. Then we have the chaos upgrade. Going next onto the crystal, which is the most powerful but too damn brittle to be useful. And then finishing off with the lightning, which is plenty powerful but still using divine. Alright, So performance, well, the mentality of a Claymore, as everyone knows, is to hit hard and hit fast. You only get one hit, generally, for most of your attacks. They're slower than most attacks. Still faster than an Ultra Great Sword, but that's not that much faster, as most other weapons will beat you in DPS. However, you have a much larger swinging area than they do. You have much greater range. So use that to advantage with the Claymore. Though, make sure you know your limits. You can tell my character that I don't use Claymores too much. Still, they're plenty powerful, and you can get through most small shields pretty easily. As you saw there, no point of even use that shield. I just got right through it. So yes, it's the mentality of a Claymore. And this one certainly fulfills all the basics. Jab-wise, you saw I didn't quite get through, but it did puncture it slightly. Next, how well is a weapon used against for crowd control? Well, it's pretty decent crowd control. Decent. There are better weapons, there are much larger weapons, and there are stronger weapons. The Claymore is, in the end, the basic you would use for such crowd control. And it will at least fulfill those basics. It's not terrible, it's just, you know, somewhere in the middle. That's the best way to put it. But you can see, even though that opponent was behind me, I still got him. So a nice, still very large swinging area. Definitely use that to your advantage. Now, against a much larger shield, though, it'll be a little different. Because trying to get through such a great shield, you won't be doing much to him. And they can wield their weapons a lot quicker than I can. So keep that in mind. Gotta be careful with the darn thing. And against a large opponent like the Durandal Guardian, it's a bit of an unfair matchup, really. How wide his hitbox is and how much swing area you have. And how much damage you do. You saw that's me guarding with the sword there, so his attack will cut through that. So you gotta be careful with that stability, it's not very high. Alright. Rounding off with NPC fight, well, with a Claymore, it is pretty darn heavy and it staggers my opponent pretty easily. He can barely do anything to fight me. So I keep him safely out of range and I hit him repeatedly. Going on to the pros and cons of the Claymore. On the pros, it is still the easiest of all the Claymores to swing around and use. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. It's kind of in the good middle ground. And like all Claymores, it has an excellent swing area. And its skilling's not bad either. Pretty good. On the cons, it is heavier than most basic weapons. It is a Claymore, so that has kind of it going against it like every other large weapon. And the animation set for the Claymores isn't that fast, so low swing speed. Alright, enough for pros and cons. Going on to the various score. For damage, I'm going to give that a B+. This is maybe the basic Claymore, but it still delivers lots of damage. More than enough to do the game, and maybe multiple playthroughs, up to playthrough, I don't know, 5? Maybe? Reach, a B+. It is standard good reach. Not short, not long. Animation, B-. It is varied and, well, has a lot of different animations to it, but it is still slow. So B-. Scaling, a standard B. It's good, simply put. For miscellaneous, I'm going to put a C+, because out of the Claymore, there's other weapons that are same size and same weight and same speed that's better. Because it's not the best weapon, but still it outdoes majority of the other weapons that you could have used. So in total, I'll give the Claymore a B in total. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Definitely worth your time. So in short, the Claymore is not short and is plenty powerful. If you use heavy weapons, it's definitely worth your time in the beginning. So yes, this video did take a little bit, but my next video won't take nearly as long. How long? I'll find out. Till then, thank you for watching and take care out there.